Have you ever seen one of these before? It's called an olla, which is an old way of gardening as I understand it. I first became aware of these a few years ago. It's basically a terracotta pot. We sink it in the ground, we fill it up with water, and the water slowly seeps out into the ground around it. I'm going to put it in today and we're going to see how well it works. So, first thing we need to do is get down to the soil. Not that far to go. I had all this straw left over from straw bale gardening, so I've used it as a mulch just to try and hold on to some of that moisture, and actually it's working quite well. The soil down here, you won't be able to see it I'm afraid, but the soil is actually quite damp around there, so that's as easy as that. That's got that planted in. What we'll do, it's got a little lid on it. I'm going to push some soil into it, around it, just to keep it solid. Actually, I think that can go deeper, looking at that. Changing the mind again, just a little bit deeper. Well, taking care, of course. What we don't want to do is break it. There we go, that's better. There we go. Put this straw back. I've got to say the straw is working really well at keeping the soil moist. We'll put the lid in. Now of course we want to test how it is with some plants. I've been lucky enough, I was sent a couple of tomato plants. This is a Brandywine, a heritage variety. These were sent from a online nursery called Roots. Highly worth checking them out. I'm going to get these planted in here and see how they get on. Hopefully, what I want to see is whether we have to water the tomato plants as they grow. There we go, that's in there nicely. Push that back around. What I try and do is make sure we keep a label there so we know what is what. I've also got this one, Goldwyn. Nice name, variety. Let's see how that gets on. I've got to say I'm really impressed with just how damp this soil still is here with all this straw mulch. It's been a really hot few days and I haven't watered this bed at all. So just adding this thick layer of mulch, it is quite thick, but it's made all the difference. There we go. 2 tomato plants in. What I'm also going to do is put in this Zephyr, a summer squash plant. I'm going to put that just at the front there. Okay. So pull back the mulch and dig down. You might see a bit better just how moist this soil is here, because that's pretty moist, I've got to say. Right, in goes the squash plant. I'll just firm that in a little bit as well. Make sure the label is there. Always like to label all my plants so I know what is what at all times. There we go. Let's get that planted in. This is an example of how moist it is. A couple of slugs just came up. Not the end of the world, we'll give those to the chickens. What we're going to do is pour some water inside this olla pot. This is about 1 litre of water going in here. Do it to our overfills. There we go, that should be plenty. And then we'll place the lid back on and keep a close eye and see how well it works. So we'll pop that lid back on, stop any water loss through evaporation, and I'll keep a close eye and see how often we have to top this up with. Don't know, I'm kind of intrigued to see how well it gets on. Now we do have other, of course, watering systems that we use here. Watering is one of those jobs that we need to do quite regularly and helps of course with our plants, but when working full time it does become a job that takes up a lot of time. So I try and find ways of making it better and easier for me to do all these jobs, and that includes mulches, this olla system. I've got a solar powered watering system in the greenhouse, and I've also got an auto pot system which I'm experimenting with this year as well. This is a 2-pot system that slowly trickles water into my plant pots. Again, another thing we're looking forward to seeing how it gets on this year. Now if you are interested in the auto pot system, I do have a discount code for you to use, which I've put down in the description down below at autopot.co.uk for use as well. 10% off, pretty good bargain I think if you do use them. This olla though, however, coming back to the olla, that cost me under £20 from Gardener's World Spring Fair. There was a stall selling it. It's terracotta, so all that moisture should just flow out slowly into the surrounding soil. If you've ever used one or came across them, I'd love to know how you got on with it and what you thought of it. Right, I'm going to call this a video for today. Let me know what watering systems you have and how you make your life easier when it comes to watering. See you again next time.